guys. Wow.
I'm always excited about whatever.
Red Bull.
Yeah. Whatever these guys, he's getting his wings out. Whatever these guys, historically, let's say this, nothing's guaranteed, but historically, whatever these guys have decided to do has always been the right thing to do when they've decided to do it, right? So that is my guiding light. That's my North Star. That's my compass, all right? So I'm happy with that. If they say, hey, listen, metaverse is the way to go, I'm in. If they say 4x and 0.3 a day is the way to go, I'm in, right? That's just like, because if you're building long term, what does it matter? And by the way, just a quick reminder, the 0.3% a day is only for people that are not interested in building the community. Let's remind you of that, right? You can do 0.3 an hour if you want.
Can't you, Cal?
You can get 0.3 an hour here by sharing with a few people, all right? Share it with a few to 0.3 an hour. How's that working out? Better for you? Oh, there you go. That's better than the one that you're talking about before, isn't it? 15 a month. It's like, no, hold on. 0.3 an hour, that turns out to be a very nice, sexy number at the end of the month, I bet.
But Cal, it's very important for the Jedi's on here to understand. The goal is to increase the size of this university, the membership here, the students learning about crypto, supporting the projects, supporting the tokens. That's the goal, is to get more members on. Now, of course, if you want to be passive, certainly you can. No problems at all. But guess what? If you accelerate by sharing, then you're not only getting your rewards quicker, but you're also helping to increase this wonderful family, this great university, more students on, get more freshmen in, get more, first years in. Let's get them going. Let's get them excited about cryptocurrency. But it's just the mindset. You've got to have a huge vision to understand that this is what we're doing here. It's not about me, what I'm going to get out of this, what I'm not getting, what I should be getting, and because of the changes, I've got to make some adjustments now. Whoa, hold on a second. Things that good for you that you've got to make some slight adjustments now because you had a great run here. Well, adjust your cloth accordingly. Make the necessary adjustment. Do that, okay? But I always said this right from day one. This is the most generous plan I've ever seen in 40 years of being in the industry. Nothing comes close. And we've done more good for the mass here than any other company out there. We've helped more members. We've done more good. And that is what I hold on to, is the fact that we're able to transform lives, give people hope, benefits, education, and gear them up for the future, prepare them for the future. That's the beautiful thing here. Yeah. We've done more good.
So again, this is, I remember, you just remind me of a time that when I was growing up, what was it like? I think it was like the 80s, right? Was it the 80s? Yeah. I think it was early 80s, maybe late 70s. And the interest rates for loans went through the roof, like 17, 18% a year. And I remember my dad was like heavily borrowed in the business, and the interest rates went through the roof. And my dad did not start crying about the fact that the interest rates went up. What he did, he extended the hours of the shop. Like it was just a solution, like solution conscious. There was no struggle, no fight, just okay. And sat down with the family and said, listen guys, we're gonna have to work a little bit harder. Lean times are upon us. We need to get work a little bit harder. We're gonna have to chip in more hours into the business to make it happen. And that it was just a matter of fact. This is what's so. What are we gonna do about it to get through it? That's the mindset of an entrepreneur. That's long-term thinking. It's not about, oh my God, I want to panic. It's about, okay, hold on a second. This is the scenario. Now what? What happens next? That mindset is really important to understand. What happens next, right? What happens, then what happens next? I want to give I just want to share this really amazing message I got from one of my leaders. I'll identify him in a minute. So we're having this little chit chat and he goes, I'm just carrying on building like normal, bro. Drowning out all of the noise about 1.0 and 2.0 changes and just building my business. And that is from my beautiful friend who's got his hand up first, Hassan. So proud of him. Hassan came from a space of no network marketing experience, no sales experience, no background in self-employment, entrepreneurship, nothing. Worked for the council. Spent I don't know how many years working for the council. Took him several years. I think, let's bring him in. Why should I spoil the thunder? Hassan, tell him how it's how you started, and then when I get a message like that from you, and then I've got seasoned pros sending me other nonsense, I'll just sit there and go, do you know what? You need to learn from Hassan. He can teach you a thing or two about network marketing. Go on, tell us.
You mean nonsense because I just, not a chance. You'd like to see my replies, my friend.
Hassan, tell us what's going on in your world, man. How did you turn from all of that I've described to who you are today?
Wow. Thank you, Cal. Thanks for bringing me on. I mean, what did I do? I mean, I just had a vision. I just wanted to get out of a 9 to 5. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of, going to work early in the morning when it's dark, coming back when it was dark. And I've always had a very strong work ethic, from a young age. But I just knew that, from the working I saw my dad work. You met Dad, and he worked up until 75, and I'm like, bloody hell, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And when I saw this vehicle, and I just kind of got really excited when I saw, jumping on 630 Zooms and hearing the people from all around the globe, because I joined completely passive. But then as I started to hear people's stories, I started to get really excited. I was thinking, actually, this could be the vehicle, because I've been looking for about 2.5 years for something like this. And then I think I said to you, what do I need to do? And then it was like, okay, you decide, okay, have a look at this, go away, I'll get it done, come back. What now next? Because I was so driven. I've always been really driven for something more, And when I saw that Hyper can do it, I've not stopped.
And you are currently V4.
Yeah, moments away from V5.
V5.
Yeah. That vision's still the same, and I just feel like I'm just getting started.
What was it like? Again, because I know you're super grateful. What was life like financially before Hyperverse? How many years were you working to get that $4,000 saved up in your bank account?
Oh man, it took me some time. Yeah, it took me some time because I was just living hand to mouth, month to month. So I'll save a little bit, and then I'd have to, kind of go back into my savings again to maybe go for a holiday, and then I've kind of bring it back up again, and it was just kind of, just juggling pots of money.
And I remember you saying at the time when you're trying to make your decision that you'd saved up this $4,000 towards a kitchen that you wanted to put in your place.
Yeah.
And the kitchen was going to cost $6,000, I think, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Did you manage to get the kitchen done in the end, or did that not become your focus anymore?
I totally forgot about the kitchen.
You need the kitchen when you got Hyper. There you go. Thank you, Hassan. Beautiful. So look, guys and girls, you know what? That is a classic example of somebody who has proven that when you get focused on the future, you get focused on the vision, when you get focused for the long term, and you know what the outcome is, what you're heading towards, what your goal is, then the noise doesn't matter, becomes irrelevant. Your goal has always got to be more important than the bumps in the road. Learn that. The goal has always got to be bigger than the bumps in the road. The other thing is understanding that they are bumps in the road. That's another thing people cannot distinguish. A bump in the road is what we're doing now. Very different to hitting an iceberg, as Keith eloquently explains, right? Hitting an iceberg is something else. That's what happens in companies that don't have experience, that don't have background, they don't know how to navigate, they found themselves in a place they've never been in before, don't know how to do the next thing, and 99% of the time they screw it up. Hence the importance of understanding who Ryan is, who Sam is, and what they've already done. Hence my complete trust in them. Unquestioning trust that they'll just work it out. And whatever that takes, I'm on side. That mindset. It's your business as much as it is mine. Are you on side? Is that your approach? Or are you on your own side? Big difference, right? And that making that shift, I'm not going to say it's easy. You know, you've got to read some books, you've got to listen to some good content, and you've got to have a good chat with yourself on a daily basis to make sure that you're talking yourself into your better future. You're feeding the right wolf. Because if you're not, you will absolutely make a mess of everything that's good in your life, of everything that's great in your life. And remind yourself, as I often remind many, where were you before this came along? It's all well and good kicking and screaming and having an entitled mindset and, you know, an I'm owed mindset. You're not owed anything. Because if you were, you would have collected it way before this opportunity came along. So, you know, get your head in the game, get on side of the company, of the team, of the community, get your head aligned with the bigger picture, and everybody's life is so much easier. And then I don't have to get back to people weeks after they've messaged me, because I physically cannot keep up with the number of messages that come through every single day. You know, so as soon as more people switch off the noise, then I get real messages coming through that actually need attention, and I can focus on those versus just the usual noisy one, squeaky wheel.
And I'm going to cover this because I just read a message from Jude in the chat. And last week, I quoted the late, great, man of God, Dr. Miles Monroe, who passed away many years ago, suddenly. And he was asked the question, who does he fear the most? Who do you fear the most? And he said, you know what? Great question. My congregation.
Wow.
And I said that last week, and some people didn't really understand that. And I just read a message from Jude. There are going to be leaders in hyper that will give you advice, i.e., to stop, to withdraw everything you can, and come with me to the promised land, to this new shiny object. If that's happening in your team, well, you're a leader, it's up to you. But as I said, when he said he fears the congregation more than anything, it's what happens within your family, your community. That's the most important thing. And as we get bigger, we'll have more. Listen, we've been in the world of multi-level marketing for 30 plus years. We've seen this before many, many times. People take teams and they start owning individuals in their team like they're best friends. They only just met them yesterday. Be mindful of that, ladies and gents, because nothing's going to stop us. We're a success. And of course, we've got to worry about those within, with their ideas. Of course, she takes a whole bunch of people. She starts a new leg somewhere else in a new organization. It all goes horribly wrong. She does very well. Unfortunately, those individuals, like she, have gone off somewhere else. Be very careful who is leading you. Who is your shepherd? If you're a sheep, who's the shepherd? But you guys are all shepherds on here. You shouldn't be sheep at all. Shouldn't be.
Not with this level of conversation, absolutely.
We're at the top level. We're giving you guys stuff, okay? Like, you should be able to go out there and handle stuff, handle your business. And I'm just saying this, guys, worry more about individuals in the community who feed the narrative, feed the negativity. They do it. And that's what worries me the most. This bickering, infighting, and this lack of belief and long-term thinking and vision. And I said this last week as well. Everything will be all right in the end. If it's not, it's not the end.
100%. That's one thing that you can literally nail yourself to the post with on this one, is that it's taking longer than all of us want it to take, including the company, including the corporate, right? I'm sure there's not one person in corporate that wants this to continue going longer than it needs to, right? So there's all hands on deck, solving whatever they need to solve, and there's a lot to solve. A lot of people don't even understand that as well, right? Somebody coming up to me saying, I've been in IT for this long and no problem should take this long to solve. And I said, okay, hold on a second. Look, I've never been in IT, right? But when you're building a brand new platform, that's what this is, by the way. You've got 1.0 is a separate platform to 2.0. When you build a brand new platform and then you migrate two different platforms together, my very amateur understanding of that level of IT is that it's a lot more complicated than putting a couple of jigsaw pieces together. It's a lot that can and does go wrong. There's glitches, bugs, all of that stuff is standard when you're doing something of this scale. So it's embarrassing when you say I'm an IT expert and I know, and then I'm going, well, why didn't you spot that one? Like, that's for me. I'm not an IT expert, and it's obvious to me that that's not a simple thing to do. So if you're an IT expert, congratulations, but maybe you need to revisit some of your books that you went through in the old days and just understand that if you built a multi-billion-dollar company before and then you're telling me, then you got my attention. But if you haven't, your knowledge means nothing to me compared to Ryan and Sam and the team's knowledge, right? So I'm going to go with theirs every day of the week. So
I don't have the experience, the wisdom, the knowledge in the blockchain space. What they have done in the last 8, 9, 10 years, documented, as well as a documentary where they pretty much was featured throughout these entire 6 episodes. I respect that.
You must watch that, guys. You really must. Like, if you haven't watched it, watch it. There's plenty of copies on YouTube and what's the other channel? That there's another BitChute. So it's available out there. Right? Look it up. Ryan Jew and Sam Lee documentary. It's called Next Blockchain.
Yeah.
Just watch it. And if you've already watched it, watch it again. I must have watched it a dozen times over the last couple of years. And most of that was in the beginning. I used to watch it, literally, I used to watch it on average probably once a month in the beginning just to really keep adding more knowledge. But also I used to show it in my trainings because I'd watch it, clips of it multiple times, on different mini trainings I do with my team. So it's ingrained, right? But just watch it again. It just brings it back to life.
Now, the whole documentary is a who's who. There's some fantastic guys from the beginning, right from the beginning. And these guys were there from the beginning. So
early adopters.
Why am I going to challenge what they're doing? You got to put your trust in these guys because we don't have the experience or the knowledge or the wisdom that they have. So,
absolutely.
What else can we do?
100%. Exactly. And that's a really great question. What else can we do? That's another one. Like, if you're complaining without a solution, you're wasting oxygen. I just get that. If you don't have the solution, you're wasting oxygen, you're wasting people's time, you're creating unnecessary noise. Like, what is all of that? It's attention seeking. There's a little kid inside of you that didn't get attention as when you were a kid, and now you're seeking it here. Don't do that. You're bigger than that, right? So tell your people, if you spot them doing that, reach out to them individually and say, listen, stop doing that. Stop seeking. The company knows, the leaders know, everyone knows your 2 pence is not needed in groups, right? Keep it in your pocket. Let's ride this through and get through to the other side. Let the company focus on what they need to do and let us focus on what we need to do. What we don't need to do is spend all day back and forth communicating with other negatrons in the group, all right?
To lead a council, I won't mention who it was, but we had a good heart-to-heart. Someone I've worked with for the past 2 years. But they down tools. They down tools over the last 4 or 5 months. Waiting for this to be right, waiting for that to be right. They're still at the same position.
Business is still.
But for over a year. I love this individual, great individual, someone who jumped on early. But the last 4 or 5 months, too much. But why stop? Why stop? That's because the belief levels isn't where it is. And if they don't
belief in the company, but also belief in themselves. Like when you don't believe in yourself and your ability to carry your team forward, to lead your team.
We're talking an individual who's a high-ranking VIP. We're not talking about somebody who's an expert or professional. And we're not somebody who's got a very, very pivotal role and familiar in their team, and yet down tools. What?
Yeah, but you know what? You've identified something really powerful. There's a big difference between a big rank and a big leader.
Boom!
That's the difference.
Let's go there.
The two have got nothing to do with each other, right? Stars and stripes mean nothing if you can't handle the heat. They mean nothing, right? I mean, Hassan is a classic example. He doesn't have the history or the background or the experience, but he's a 4-star by blood, sweat, and tears.
Boom.
He's earned the rank, and how he shows up now is the leadership that I'm talking about. When he sends me a message this morning, so I'm just drowning out the noise and working on my V5, that's all I'm doing is focusing forward. I'm looking at a leader every day of the week right there, right? Over and above anyone that might be a VIP 5-star and shits their pants and legs it.
Crazy. Why?
I'll be back when you're fixed. All right. Can you imagine when the interest rates went up? If my dad said, "Oh, I'm just going to close the shop for a while."
Yeah, exactly. The person's done so well, and that's it. I'm good. Whatever happens, I'm good. It just winds me up. Why?
It's one of them, isn't it?
And they've got the stripes.
Yeah. But you're always going to get those. That's why I always say there's about 400 V5s in the company, but probably half of those are actually leading. Yeah, there's about half of them that are leading, and half just, they're sat on the throne and they've got there because they've got great people in their teams, but not leading at all. Right? They're not. So the two are different, right? Rank is not leadership. They're two separate conversations. Always remember that. And what this is a leadership call. We're encouraging leadership over rank, right? So you might be an expert, you might not even be ranked, but you're showing up as a leader. Much more respect for you than I have for the ranked person that's sitting on the lifeboat, rowing away from the boat. Tell me when you fix the leaks, man. I'll be back. See you later. I'm just going to be over there on that island for a little while.
Now, when we started, we were leaders anyway. We were already leaders. We came here with what we took from the past, our wisdom, our experience. We came here and we knew that we could do this provided everything else is fine. We did our due diligence. We're happy. We understood the vision. We understood the plan and how unique it was and how different it was. And guess what we did? We took the leadership role up straight away and we've led ever since. That's over 2 years, my friend.
100%. And it's literally day to day. We've not skipped a beat.
Now, it's 24 degrees outside, my friend. I should be in my garden having, sitting through pins and watching the fish swim around.
How many, especially since I moved to Dubai, because 3 to 6 is, for me, 6 to 9. It's like prime Saturday night social hours, right? Nothing gets in the way. People want to make dinner plans. You make them around that slot. Sorry, but that there,
Nothing for that, man.
whatever you want to do. Sorry, that there, I'm committed to the team. I'm
Saturday
committed
night
to the
between
people.
6 p.m. and 9 p.m. is blocked out every Saturday.
Off. Again, how many people would be willing to do that? Right? Oh no, I've got to meet up with my friends for a lunch at pub and and do this. Go on then. Do you know, you've heard it 1,000,001 times, right? If you want to get somewhere different, you've got to do something different, right? And many leaders talk about paying a price for a time, right? Now, here's the thing. I don't have to do this anymore. Neither does Keith. We don't have to do this. Like, really understand that, right? We want to do this. We love to do this, but we don't have to do this. I really get that. We're blessed. We made the right decision. We took the correct action. We stayed consistent, did everything, weathered all the storms. This is not the first storm, by the way. So for some of you, it's the first storm. You might get a little bit panicky. We've weathered a few storms.
We have the early days.
We've weathered many different storms, and we know how to weather storms. We know that the company knows what to do next. And so, we're here because we want you to lean on our experience. That's the paying it forward part, right? So that one day somebody in your team is going to lean on your experience. And that's how communities are built. That's how strength is put into organizations, where people that have gone through any kind of growth are then hanging around long enough to pass that experience on to somebody else. And that's where we start building some legacy kind of foundation, right? So what we're doing here is all out of that long-term legacy thinking. Like, we are building, not yet super grateful. 1 million plus or minus physical members in the community in 2 years is awesome, amazing, but that's not the goal. That's a milestone, right? That was one of the goals when we're at 100 members and then 1,000 members, and then at 10,000 members, and then at 100,000 members, and then at 1 million members. But they're milestones. The goal is 30 million users on the platform, which will be 5 to 10 million members in the community. That's the goal. So we're not even 10% of the way through the goal yet, right? So if you're downing tools, panicking, having anxiety attacks, panic attacks, if you're doing all of that drama, how are you ever going to get to the goal? How are you ever going to make it, right?
What's the alternative? Go back to what you were doing before. Go back and
just get on with it.
Is that the option on the table, to go back to what you were doing before? I certainly won't want to go back to where I was November 2019. There's very tough times.
Reminder, honestly. Do you know what? That's a little exercise everyone could do right now. Just remind yourself, where were you before this landed on your table?
Yeah.
If you're losing touch of gratitude, if you're losing touch of how far you've come, just have a quick remember of where were you before this came along.
Yeah.
If you are going through that, right? Not everyone's going through it. I appreciate that. If you're one of those that goes through those moments of, oh my God, and just go back to them and how was that for you? And then, when you put that into perspective, and then you add to that what we're sharing on this Zoom in terms of what...
I will never forget what it was like, 2019. Tough year. Very tough year. And when we got together at the end of the year and we looked at this together, and you did more due diligence than I did. I just stepped out on faith, and you came back and said, "Yeah, let's do this." And you have been there ever since. Every day you showed up every day, and you've given to the community, and you're giving back now. But we're still winning souls for Hyperverse. That's the key, guys. We're giving people hope, and the good that we've done. As I said, I can list off dozens of teams that we've helped to grow, and individuals in those teams, passive as well as active, and what we've done for them and how we changed things for them. And that's a great exercise. Go back to where you were when you first registered and what life was like before, what you were doing before, and just try and remember, because we're ever so grateful. Every day I give thanks. I'm truly grateful every day, every single day. First thing I did, I wake up and I give thanks. Thank you. Because I can't wait for the day to start, daybreak, because I have less time ahead of me than what's gone before. So I want to occupy, you guys say,
past the halfway mark. Past the halfway mark.
Halfway mark. That is why I try and eke out as much of a day as possible. If I can get 18, 19 hours of the day, I'm good. Awake and doing stuff and just enjoying life. Enjoy the journey, because tomorrow's not guaranteed. Tomorrow's not promised. You've got to enjoy the journey here and never forget where you've come from and what it was like at that moment. And I tell you this now, there are tens of thousands of members who can quite clearly say, listen, I really know how things were for me back then, and I would not want to go back. Absolutely.
100%. Absolutely. And just, again, before we round off and come into the team, I want to just touch on the accelerator once again, right? So, the 9% a month, 108% a year is if you fail to open your mouth. That's all, right? We have trainings, we have support systems, we've got leaders, we've got everything you ever need to learn how to say hello, how to smile. That's it. All start with that. There's little baby muscles that you've got to start building. Some of you haven't smiled in a long time. Learn to smile more often, right? Make the smile your default, not the frown. Most people wear a frown most of the time until there's a reason to smile, all right? See if you can train yourself to smile most of the time unless there's a reason to frown. And then when you find a reason to frown, kill it anyway. Don't give it space, right? Just smile. When you step out of the house smiling, it's inevitable before somebody smiles back. That's the first muscle. The next one is, when they smile back, say hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you? Whatever, a couple of words. Just learn 2 or 3 words that you can spur out that are not going to be difficult for you, right? That's the next muscle you want to start building. And as you start adding step by step, it won't be long before you can start having conversations with people. Goodness gracious me, can you imagine having conversations with other human beings? How scary is that, right? But guess what? with a little bit of practice, I believe in you. You can do this. You got this. You can have conversations with people. And that's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. Share the magic. All right? Did it again last night. Out for dinner with some friends at a restaurant. Great waiter, served us well. At the end of the evening, just before he gave me the bill, before he walked away, I said, listen, by the way, how long have you been here? 3 years. How many more years are you planning on working here? Typical response, oh, not long. Did you plan on working here for 3 years in the first place? No. Okay. Can you see there's a pattern? Yeah. What's the plan after here? I want to do my master's and I want to do it in America. I said, if I can help you find a way to get yourself to America faster than the 3 years you've been trying to get there already, would you be interested? Absolutely. Give me a number. Let's see what we can do. Done. I invited him tonight. Guess what? He didn't show up because he was working. Not a problem. My job is just to invite. It's not to sit and go, oh, I invited him and he didn't show up. Do you see that? That's what some of you guys do. You're focused on what didn't happen versus what you did, which was the right action. Focus on the right action. Forget the output. If you do enough right action, the output will always show up. Eventually.
Counts. Here's the deal. If you focus on one person showing up, you're going to wait. If it's just the one person, that's your ticket. That's the one. This person's going to blow this up, and they keep on doing no shows. Do you know how you handle that and how you handle that disappointment? Invite 2 or 3 or 5 or 10, and then you don't focus on the ones that don't show up. You focus on the ones that show up. That's who you focus on. So you make up in numbers rather than to be praying for one person who you think's going to be great, but you never know, because those you think will, won't. Those you think can, can't. Those you think, for me, it's so important to understand that don't think that this is dependent on any one member that you sign up or register, because they may well disappoint you. 9 out of 10 of them disappoint you anyway.
Absolutely. It's the classic, the pack of cards mindset, all right? If I said to you that, keep turning the cards over, and if you find an ace, I'll give you 100 grand. At what point do you stop turning cards over?
Oh, I like that one.
Say that again?
I love that one.
Yes, I love. Me too. It's
turning the cards.
It's such a nice visual, isn't it? Because you get it then. You're like, hold on, the aces are out there. You don't know who they are. Don't try and predict who they are.
4 of them.
Yeah, there's always, there's 4. There's 4 out there. You don't know where they are, who they are. You've got one simple task. Keep turning the cards. Just keep turning the cards. It's inevitable. But if you're not turning the cards, you'll never find them.
You're down to
they're waiting to be found.
I'm not doing this anymore. Too much problems. I'm not turning over any more cards. I'll wait for it all to be right.
Here's what you do. If there's any people here that are currently in tools down mode, or you've got a long list that you're too scared to approach, send it over to me, please. I love turning over cards. Send it to me. I'll happily continue building.
Now it's 4. Should we open up?
Yeah, let's get in.
I'll stay around for a little bit longer, and then I've got to speak.
Listen, if you need to go, Keith, I'm more than happy to.
No worries. I'll give it a bit around. A few about our Jedi's. I want to hear the Jedi speak.
Sonia, Jedi Sonia, come and talk to us.
How are you? Sonia, unmute. Can I ask you to unmute again, Sonia? You've been.
Oh, you muted yourself. We heard one word.
Come on, Sonia, just one press, not 2 clicks. Here we go.
Okay.
There you go. Yes.
All right. Hey, Keith and Calfax, what's going on?
All
I'm
good.
I'm not at work today.
I can see that.
Yes. My focus on everything is just like the military. Hurry up and wait. Don't worry about what the company's doing. They know what they're doing, like how y'all said. Hey, I'll put it like this. All my members, they made it to 2.0. For some reason, maybe I hit the wrong button. I hadn't made it back. The company said they're coming back on the 25th. So why sweat it?
Boom. There you go. Keep it simple.